And I think everything's set up properly. So, welcome back to Games Revealed. I'm James and also The Brink, and we are here for a live stream. Let me just adjust my camera just a little bit. You can kind of see that it's a mess in the background. I have not. I'm in the middle of cleaning up my room, and with that or my desk, I should say. I cleaned up my desk. With that comes cleaning up my room now. So, yeah. I think we've got everything adjusted over here. Yeah. Welcome. Hey, welcome, Andre, Wolf, Magnation. How's it going? Magnation, you have your Steam Deck, don't you? You liking it? Let's wait for you to answer that. If you do decide to answer, we'll continue. So my week-long challenge is what we're going to be talking about today. I'm going to be doing some more interesting topics that for some of these streams, obviously in the near future. The ranking was really fun, and it's hard to decide if to keep this stream on Steam Deck only or to broaden it to additional things in the gaming world, whether it be hardware or games. I'll do a poll. We'll do some polls in the next few days to just determine that. As you know, I want to make sure this is fun. The Doubler, welcome. And then Magnation, I sure do. I'm glad you're enjoying it. Brian, good evening. Good evening to you. It is a very good evening. I will have to say, I really enjoyed this Steam Deck challenge. It might not have sounded like that as much in my videos. I was just being real about the whole challenge of replacing my computer with Steam Deck. Obviously, was a difficult to stream, and it got me a little frustrated, but I did enjoy it nonetheless. So, Doubler, I'm 52 seconds away in the queue for my email. I should get my email tomorrow for sure. Yeah, it sounds like parts of the queue are going up really quick, aren't they? It's very low. Okay, let's see if I can fix it. I don't know if I can fix it. Okay, does that help at all? Oh, did it go out? Yeah, it's so finicky. Like, I think it might be the cords, to be honest. So let's see if that fixes it. I hate these mic issues. I really do hate these mic issues. I really want to figure out a way to fix it. Super. Welcome. Chalice, welcome. Mike's low. Yeah, just let me know if it continues to get worse. Yeah, that's so weird that it gone off. It's bizarre. So thanks for letting me know on that. I'm definitely I'm getting better with my setup. My setup's actually getting a lot better. I'll have to take a photo sometime and actually show everyone. But yeah, my Steam Deck is right there, and it's still looking sexy as ever. I love this thing. And that was my consensus right after the challenge, is that the Steam Deck is like the perfect companion, and with that, the companion to play games. And I like to play games no matter what, whether it be at my desk, in my bed, like I've always talked about, or just whatever else I do. Like I like playing games a little bit more on my Steam Deck than on my main PC. And so definitely that was true from the challenge. Hi. Hey, welcome. Dario, sadly, I pre-ordered my Steam Deck a bit late last December, so I'm after Q3 on my deck. Yeah, it will be interesting about that, Dario, is how will those pre-orders be fulfilled coming forward? Because right now, everything seems to be on track. I don't know if there's any uptick in fulfillment as of yet. I got mine in the window that I was expecting it from the calculator, which means the calculator is decent enough at predicting short term. I still stand by that we'll find out more by the end of June, maybe even into July. Once we get into Q3, we might even find out how after Q3 looks, and they might even clarify it. So I could see solid dates coming for Steam Deck. Await ease to get notified when their Steam Deck might have a more solid date or even quarter, because after Q3 could mean 10 years from now. Obviously, it probably won't, but it could, right? So with that, yeah, I think we're gonna get more clarification on that. Magnatia and my BIOS are all in Q3, so I'm letting them test out my deck to see if they want to go through with the investment. Oh, my boss. Okay. IO think they will be blocked. Oh, it'd be hooked. Oh yeah, sorry, I misread that. Yeah, so yeah, I'd say like even just everyone that's seen my deck so far has really liked it. Some that played a bunch of it couldn't put it down. Still's like, well, yeah, this is good. This is good. But I think it's once it's more readily available, I think people are gonna be digging it a little bit more. Hi, can't wait 10 years. For you, it might be 15, 16 years. Hi. Chalice. As soon as I go back to work, I'm buying one off of offer up. I can't wait any longer. Oh gosh, I get you on that one. I looked. The only saving grace, to be honest, was two. I didn't want to pay for a scalper. In the end, I'm not gonna say whether or not you should or not. It's a hard one. But the other one is that I knew that I was going to be getting one in Q2, so in Q2. So that wasn't as big a deal. It just means boys. Okay. Sorry, maybe I'm reading too much into it. So your boys, okay. I'm too literal, I guess, or read too much into maybe mistakes in the text. So, hi, actually considering offer up. Yeah, I mean, might not be a bad one. Maybe. If you can't wait. Q3 is around the corner, so if you're in Q3, it's the same thing with Q2. Like, in the end, I'm glad I didn't spend a ton of money on this device. The device is awesome. I love it. I'm just a nerd. Well, thank you, Wolf. I'm glad I waited. I think I don't know. Because I'm doing the YouTube, I don't think I would have regretted spending $1,000 plus. But yeah, that's what Julian, July SEP, Q3, I think. Okay, cool. Yeah, like I said, with the Q3 stuff, if I can just give some recommendations, it's not bad to wait. Like, you're in Q3, so I definitely would wait for the Q3. It does suck, but if you're in Q3, you're in much better position than a lot of people in the after Q3, right? Where they just aren't even fully sure because they haven't gotten that far into the fulfillment cycle, and if ramping up is even going to happen still. So I don't think there's any signs to say it's not going to, but I definitely would recommend just hanging out until Q3. It's worth the wait. I don't think you'd be disappointed if you bought it off eBay, depending on how much money you have. But well, thank you. Patience hasn't failed me yet. Yes, Magnation. I don't think it. Yeah, exactly. So I definitely think it's worth waiting for the for Q3. I don't know if because I do think it's a game changer. Meaning this is going to change how PC gaming is for the next decade or two. In the sense of I think it's going to even bring more console PC gaming on the go with Ioneo and other brands releasing more and more, which they're to be honest, they're overdoing it. They have too many SKUs. They're gonna, and I'm sure they're gonna start deprecating some, meaning they have a ton of different options. I'm hoping they kind of bring those options down and just offer maybe two. They don't need an Intel or AMD. They just need one that does better, that does well. They just need one that does really well. It's easier to support and all that, and they could potentially, if done right, lower the price with sales volumes. So it will be interesting. It will be interesting to see if other companies go into the PC gaming world. I know Epic doesn't want to support the Steam Deck, but I'm wondering if maybe they have something in their mind soon too. They have so much money to burn. Who knows? Dario, I don't mind waiting, to be honest. More patches, better optimization, emulator performance. I have not had a lot of issues with my deck. The only issues I've really had in my deck has been in desktop mode. And I have gotten a little bit of hate, just a little bit of hate, not too bad, on the desktop mode stuff. So when I was doing the challenge, I was obviously being like a little bit of a super user, where I don't know if I should say super user. Super user would maybe even go into more installing a lot of additional things to the package manager, Pacman. I did do some of that, but the desktop mode definitely was a little, it was fast. I'll be honest. Like, I was really impressed with how fast this deck was. And we're going to get into this on and off throughout this conversation. I'm going to respond to chat stuff, and also we'll keep the conversation going on about my challenge and a more in-depth look, I guess, than just the video I made, that you guys can also ask me questions. Yeah. And if you have any questions about my challenge, I can respond, to be honest. Please ask me questions. That's what we're here about. We're here to chat about chatty stuff, I guess, with the Steam Deck. And I'd prefer to stay in the realm of like the challenge, but if you want to go out of it, you're more than welcome. So Magnation, also apparently my Odin's coming this Saturday. Oh man, I can't wait to get my Odin. I'm really excited for that device. That's going to be my secondary for emulation. I like the emulation on the deck, but that's going to be one that's going to be pretty fun, because it almost feels like it's designed for emulation. Not going to lie, I think it's Cap. Leong, I don't know how to pronounce the name, I'm sorry. I pretty much stopped buying PC games and played mobile games. The Steam Deck actually incentivized me into buying a PC, or buying PC games. So if any games does not work on the Steam Deck, it is a pass for me. Oh, interesting. Yeah. I think it's going to get better and better. So I think support is I think what they're at 3,000 titles that are either verified or playable. And playable states, I have not had any issues with a game that says playable right now. I know it can happen, where a new release of Proton can cause issues with some games, and you have to go and backtrack to a previous Proton version to make that playable. I'm hoping they can there's a lot of tooling that they could do as a developer, on the developer side for me, to indicate the best Proton version if they're having the regressions like that. So that would be like regression testing in the software world, I guess, to get into some technicalities. So what that essentially means, hopefully I'm not boring anyone, is that when they release new versions, it doesn't break previous versions. So I'm hoping that they solve that. I haven't heard anything if they've solved that yet, but I am hoping that they do resolve some of those issues along the lines of releasing a Proton version and then breaking previous stuff. Like I said, a regression test could help them with that. And bare minimum, a system that would record the best version like at that point for those games could also help that. That'd be a nice system. I'd really like to see them implement. Wouldn't be overly difficult. It'd be a database, but yeah, I'm not going to go too deep into this. It might be too technical. Sometimes I go a little too technical in this channel. So, yeah. Why don't you hit that like button? And Wolf is the cheerleader. So, with my challenge, I would say, like I've mentioned in the videos, the most challenging thing was the streaming, probably, like, so a week ago. Really pissed me off. And it wasn't fully the Steam Deck's fault. It was my internet. I would say first and foremost, it died, and I reset it, and then I proceeded to have issues. That's where the Steam Deck comes in. Like, ultimately, first and foremost, I don't think I would have had as many issues if my internet didn't go out. The problem, too, though, was once it did, the Steam Deck just did not pass in a very good way that type of event, which can happen to people. And especially on YouTube, it's bad, because then I have to spin up new events to do it again. and it just gets kind of weird for everyone. I feel like, at least for me, with yeah, and then so it crashed my computer or the Steam Deck essentially almost. It hard locked it to where I couldn't get out of anything, but the mic was still working. Right, if you were there last week, and that was frustrating. I don't like it when my computer locks up, and the Steam Deck is locked up multiple times. Now, from reading through things, comments, and whatnot, it does sound like they're using more experimental I don't even know what it is fully, because the desktop system is KDE Plasma. But I don't know if there's like a rendering engine or something like that that was freezing it up. It's something along the lines. What it sounds like is that the Steam Deck has some experimental feature or software in it, packaged into their version of Arch with the Steam OS. But I don't know if that's a good enough excuse for what I witnessed, which was just essentially using OBS. Now, that being said, I did have a camera and a mic hooked up. I wasn't, just going off of like one camera with a mic source. I had two separate sources so that could have totally hung up the whole thing. Once again, further proving I just can't use the Steam Deck for this type of stuff yet. I think one day it might be able to happen. I definitely think if people need it to work, they could get it to work. I don't work that way. I usually like systems that work out of the box, and then that I don't have to modify too heavily. Magnation, did you try to record using the deck? I have some methods I want to try. So there's one that I think might work, maybe, is that you can run multiple applications at once. I need to double check this. So you could set up OBS as add it as a non-Steam game, and then you could then go into game mode. Do that in desktop mode, obviously. Go into game mode and then run that, and then I don't know. I have never tried this yet, but then switch to a game, like start up another game and then switch back and forth. And I don't know how this will work because I know some applications want, like VLC. I tried to get VLC to run inside of the Steam Deck game mode, and I just haven't figured out a good way to do that quite yet because I wanted to watch stuff off of my I have a server over here, an NAS box that I have stuff on, and I wanted to watch it and just see how it was. I didn't quite get that working yet with VLC, so I'm gonna find another and it's probably an IO issue, meaning allowing access. Well, maybe it's not, I don't know. That is one thing that I know that it's missing, and maybe if any of you guys know, is there a good media player for the Steam Deck? Yeah, I don't know. I got VLC, by the way, from the Discover store, and that is where, so I know that it's never going to get erased, right? I had that issue. I was installing stuff outside of the, DaVinci Resolve, which is a video editor that I use, and I installed it outside of the Discover package manager that uses the flat pack, and everything obviously was erased. It wasn't there anymore, even though I had like icons and links to it. The base applications were gone, and so I can definitely after the update, if I can make sure I correct that. So every time you update the Steam Deck, it will erase. It doesn't erase files, and so I had like media files and all that stuff on the deck, but applications you install through Pacman or other routes, that's not through. If you install it through Steam, which is actually kind of, I guess, a roundabout way. If you install it through Steam, so if you add it as the setup, I believe potentially, or better. I haven't tried it with a Linux base, like with DaVinci setup, but if it's Windows based and you run it through add non-games, in the whole Steam thing with Proton, it will install in a portion of the drive that does not get erased. So I can definitely confirm that that doesn't get erased. Like I played Sacrifice. Excuse me as I open up something to drink. Excuse me. So Yeah, it didn't erase it. Like my sacrifice was still there. It was working great. In fact, I was really surprised at how well just an old school game that I doubt anyone potentially has ever played on the Steam Deck yet worked. Yes, taking a drinky. Thank you, hi hi. Yeah, I also have water here. Luong, what music player do you use on the Steam Deck, and are you able to play it in the background while playing games on desktop mode? That's it. Once again, I haven't tried that yet. In fact, let me. Sorry, I think I'm in desktop mode right now. Let's double check something real quick. I will be. I do have a new camera system that I'm hopefully going to be able to do better videos with the Steam Deck. So just to, to prove that, hey, it's not dead. I haven't dropped it or anything like that. The challenge didn't murder it. My deck's right here. They need to add a media player though. If this is going to be a true console, they need to add some type of media player. Now, you can add Chrome, obviously, and then I believe there's even ways to create shortcuts to like Netflix and stuff like that, and you could do it that way. 'Cause I don't think there's a Discover app for Netflix. I will have to say the Discover App Store, whatever you want to call it, is pretty awesome. Looked like you were quick sipping a beer. Maybe if you call an ale a beer, then yes. So don't mind me. Uh, let's see here. Yeah, I don't think there's any real easy way to do it out of the box. Once again, you might be able to play. Now I'm kind of curious about this. I think you might be able to set up like here's my VLC. Um, you may be able to do that and then switch applications. I've never really tried, so let's see how that works real quick. So in theory, you could get Spotify running in Chrome and then switch applications maybe. I don't know if would lose focus of the audio or not. Guess we could, there's a lot of things I know a lot of people have requested on the channel and I need to get to. I'll be honest, the challenge threw me off a lot. I spent a lot of my time doing things like setting up, installing, verifying, making sure I could and I had to re-record some videos. Like Saturday, I re-recorded a video 3 times because of audio issues. It really was frustrating. Really was frustrating. Okay, let's see here. Let's do. I'm just deciding on something. Let's do Half-Life. Yeah, you can run 2 applications. So once again, I don't know if. So you can see right there. I don't know how well it's focusing. But you can see that there are 2 applications and I can swap between them. So I just swapped real quick. If I hit the Steam button, then I select Half-Life, and it goes back to Half-Life. Now I'm kind of curious if it's going to run the audio or if that doesn't. Sometimes. Well, we can continue talking and I can figure this out. So, yeah, the time, probably the thing I spent the most time on is the Switch stuff because I've never homebrewed my Switch. I've never done anything to go that route because you need to get ROMs for your Switch, and so yeah, smack. Why is my Steam Deck orange? Because it's the Steam box or the orange box, right, from Valve. No, I just chose orange. It's partially to kind of like a Half-Life esque thing. Hey, welcome, Brandon, aka Chad, Kate. Yes, and it is a scan. It's a skin from D brand. The backside right here is an army style. So Black. I don't mean to keep on hitting that the mic. So I'm kind of curious now if this will play other things. I thought you said scam from D-Brand. No, D-Brand's not a scam. I'll be honest. Like it's the problem is if you don't like frustrating installations, which I actually don't. I don't know if I could recommend it because installing is actually fairly difficult. If you're really if you're really just like, I'm going to do this very careful, very slow, and you're very determined to have a colored front, then go for it. If you're not prepared to put the time in, which could take up to 2 hours for both sides, I don't recommend doing it. The back was a lot easier to do than the front. And honestly, I do like this camouflage, this black camouflage. I love it. I'm either going to rip off my orange one day or and replace it with the camouflage, or just rip off the orange, because to be honest, even though the plastic looks cheap on the Steam Deck, in my opinion, I think it still is not bad. It doesn't bother me. Yeah, what music player do you use on the Steam Deck? Yeah, once again, VLC does do music playing. Like, it's music and video. It's kind of a little bit more older school. Lutris might even be another way to do some of that. It has some cool, options for running, especially Windows games. It's kind of like a platform where you can download and find and do stuff like, let's say, the Epic Game Store is on Lutris. And you just log in, you can download the game if it's supported by, I think you can download it no matter what, but if it's supported by Linux, then you're even better off. Or else you have to kind of go, I believe, through the Steam route of trying to add everything. Let's see here. Now I'm kind of curious, because, so one of the things I set up right here, Andre, I like them skins, but I don't have the patience for the installation. I tried doing my drone with a skin and gave up halfway in frustration. Oh, yeah, I could understand that. Like I said, if there's not a lot of curves, so like with this, if there's not a lot of curves, you're going to be okay typically. If there are, like in those sense, you have to stretch it and use a heater. In my case, I used a hairdryer. That was sucky. I'll be honest. Another thing, I don't know if I mentioned much, but I got the Xbox cloud gaming stuff working, and even through their tutorials, which I do need to still do. But I found a tutorial myself, but I'm going to do a video tutorial on it to help everyone here. I was able to get, even the shortcut set up. So when I go into, I believe, when I launch it, it has some shortcuts that then just launches right into Xbox Gaming Live or whatever the route is, right? So I get right into being able to play my games remotely. And this is at cloud gaming. Yeah, I'm gonna answer the question. So now I can play, the best Mass Effect, which is Andromeda, right? Everyone loves Andromeda. Honestly, I do like Andromeda though. I'm just a big Mass Effect fan, and I enjoyed it. I can play Halo on the go, and it works pretty good. The PlayStation, that's another thing I did on the challenge, is I played Xbox games on my Steam Deck. Great. You can play these on a lot of other devices, though. Kind of the nice thing about cloud gaming. Also played my PlayStation 5 on the go. Upstairs in my room. Loved it. Trying to get through Ghost of Tsushima. I really need to get through that. I love that game. It's really good. And so I've been playing that remote, and to be honest, it's a delight. Okay, so now to Brandon, a.k.a. Chad, a.k.a. I don't know if you ever want to give me, whatever. Brandon's a part of the community, and so if you don't know, they're on Discord and all that. And if you're new to this, make sure to like, subscribe, bash that bell with your crowbar. And if you want to be a part of our community, which is great, you can go to our Discord, by the way. Okay, little bit of a promotion there. So, what was the hardest thing about doing the deck challenge? Well, thank you. I am feeling better. Sunday was a little rough. So, the hardest part about the deck challenge was not that I was using Linux. I've used Linux before. I've used Linux for more than a week. At work, I've used it for more than a year at work, on and off at times. I do go on and off using different operating systems. My main ones still are like Windows and Mac, and the community doesn't like it, but I'm more productive with them. I'm just sorry, but not sorry. I'm more productive in Windows and Mac than I am in Linux. And I'm going to preface that there's just more support for some of the stuff I do. Like game development is better in Windows. Mobile development is better in Mac. Those are some of the things I do. I do a lot of other type of development. I will say, I do know that like people really like, they stand by the development in Linux. I don't, for the stuff I develop, not a big difference, like when it comes to web technologies for me at this point. So, but I do love the direction SteamOS is going. I think that we're getting, I want I want Linux to end up winning in the end. I want them to be able to say, hey, look, we're the best for game development. We're the best for all the things that you need, so you can switch finally. I'm not going to be against going on and off and maybe trying do another challenge in the future. I just don't, right now, this isn't like, obviously this is a less powerful device than my main device, but I went in knowing that that was going to be the case, right? I do. So, Wolf, I'll get to your question here in a second. So, I went into the challenge knowing that it was going to be difficult for the most part. In fact, some of the things I thought was going to be more difficult was actually easier. I was worried about editing. I was able to edit. I was able to do a lot of different things like that. I thought it was going to be a little better to do my recordings with, which I should have expected it, because it's recommended with my capture card to be running. I should have gotten like a 1080 capture card. I have a 4K capture card. And the bandwidth needed it's recommended, I believe, to be on its own USB bus, meaning there's usually groupings of USBs on your motherboard and all that, and you shouldn't share it with any other USB device when you're doing camera capture with the 4K is what's recommended, apparently, when I was debugging stuff. But I had a powered hub over here that I hooked it into. When I tried hooking it into, I believe, this Anchor one, if you guys can see that, it didn't work very well. It was very laggy. So I was actually super concerned. And my first video I recorded was actually not hooked up through OBS or anything else. I recorded it off the camera. Then I had to rip it off. I preferred to not go that route because I try to make these as easy as possible for me. Plus, I wanted to make sure I did a live stream, and I do have a Logitech camera over here. It just was kind of crappy, and I didn't want to degrade the performance for the week, which I do feel like the videos just weren't as good. I recorded in 30 frames instead of 60 frames. I kind of just had to. I was limited in the bus. So to answer your question, Brandon, in the end, the hardest part was trying to make the videos for the challenge for the channel. Hello, Michael. Welcome. You are I'm glad to have you here. So yeah, like I said, in the end, that was the hardest part. Everything, like the longest part was probably doing the Uzu Switch stuff. But the guides are so good out there for it, and it is convoluted. Don't get me wrong. The process, like, there's so many different ways to potentially do it, and also there's different switches out there. That process was frustrating, but I knew I was going to get through it. With the recording and live streaming and all that, I was not sure I was going to get through that. I'll be honest. I was like, what am I going to do? Am I going to have to cheat in some way and just like record them off of my laptop, my Windows laptop or something like that? I was not sure about it. And I am actually curious, and I probably should do a retrospect on this. I am going to get an SD card and split it into Windows and Linux and install it on this. So an NVMe, most likely, M.2, 22 3030 card for this, split it, see how Windows performs as opposed to Linux. Linux is more optimized, and it's typically lower all around in performance and everything else it takes to run it. But what Valve's done is a little complicated. So I wonder if some of their complexities in it made some or created some issues in the operating system. So I'm kind of curious if the recording would do any better in Windows, because that would more indicate it's a software issue and not a hardware issue, which is what I'm thinking is a hardware issue. There's only one USB-C. If there's two USB-Cs and they don't share the same hub, meaning like they have their own controllers on the deck, then you could do recording. You could do a lot more with this. There are limitations, obviously. I mean, anyone that thinks otherwise is just trying to trick themselves to thinking that the $400 computer is going to replace a $1,000 computer. Mine's a lot more than $1,000. Let's not get into that. But it's not going to replace it. I'm sorry, but if you can only afford a $400 computer, you already have a monitor, mouse, keyboard. This might be the best bet for you, the best bang for buck, especially if you are more emphasized on gaming. I will definitely just throw that out there. In the end, it's great. Okay, let's get to this. I have one or two questions. Okay, Wolf, Brink, have you played more of Ghostwire Tokyo? I have not. I have been debating to continue playing that on the Brink channel, TH3BRNK. I still do owe everyone that's like subscribed to it, or I've been telling that I'm going to do a stream from the Steam Deck, fully from the Steam Deck. I think I'm going to do Half-Life. I still owe everyone that. So I do plan on doing a stream from my Steam Deck for Half-Life for like an hour or two. I'll try to do it. Maybe, I mean, it is a holiday weekend this weekend. Maybe I'll do that. So we can give that a try. I'm choosing the original Half-Life because I think we're going to get by with it. I think it's going to work. I might have to use the webcam because, like I said, the power draw from the bus, I don't know how it's going to degrade. Like multitasking, I've mentioned this multiple times. Multitasking is not the Steam Deck's, it's not its strong point. If it does too much multitasking, it might eventually freeze up and just almost hard lock, where you have to do a hard reset. Okay. So yes, Wolf, if more people want to see me play games on the Brink channel, I am willing to do that. I will find a little bit more time. I do think I have more time coming up, so I want to do that. That game is fun. I have not played it anymore. I've been wanting to, though. There's a lot of games I want to play. Okay, M2IJ. I hope I said that right. But Jay, bought a 400 gig SD cards today since it was on sale. Going to use it for Windows Drive. Yes. I have not tried the SD card route with Windows yet. I can't remember if there's limitations with that. I swear that I heard something about that. I have not tried that yet. You could end up with some write issues. Hopefully it's an I still need to do a video on the A1, A2, and a couple other things on SD cards to clarify. From my understanding, A2 potentially has more writes, not higher writes, but more writes than the A1s. So that's definitely one thing to look out for, is to know that you are going to get more writes. And if it's an operating system, it's just going to write more than a game. Yes, like if you're playing a game, you're going to get, you're just going to get lower write, just writes altogether are bad for SD cards. They have a limit, like any hard drive, technically, like besides hard disk, has limited writes, meaning they've been petitioned to essentially write for such a long period of time, so your SD cards will eventually fail. They just only have so many writes that they can survive through. SD cards are the same, and with Windows, it can be a little writey at times. It's yeah. So not sure how it's gonna go. Haven't tried that out yet. But for games, just to put another thing out there, don't frickin' worry about the card as long as you're getting a decent name brand. Like I have an old card that doesn't even hit 104 megabytes per second, and I downloaded like yeah, it takes longer, but I've downloaded some games on it. It runs fine. Yeah, does it read a little slower? Yeah, it runs fine. My like most of the cards you're gonna buy nowadays are gonna hit that 104 megabyte ceiling before so it doesn't even matter unless you're doing lots of writes, like like we've talked about, operating system or some type of if you're using it for a camera, it requires more write, a faster write depending on the level. I feel like I missed someone's. Brandon, how have you tried multiplayer games on the deck as of yet? I have not. I am actually there is a way to install League of Legends on Linux. There's a Linux like way of doing it. It's not Steam Deck specific, but I assume it would work. I'm curious to see how it would work with controllers. It sounds actually kind of cool. The concept. We'll see if in application if it is. So I might try going that route. I'm not a big multiplayer game person these days, and especially not on controller. But I do want to try it. What game should I play multiplayer on the Steam Deck? And I'll play it one of these days. Well, I'm glad I can put people to sleep. Is this everyone's like bedtime story or like bedtime video? They're just like, I gotta hit that snooze button, so I just watch a little bit of Brink. Okay. RC guy. Have you tried Stellaris and I'm assuming or Crusader Kings 3 on Steam Deck? I have not tried either. Once again, I have a list that I needed. I want to find a different way of recording community requested plays because I do want to do that. And I'm collecting them right now. I have a bunch of them. I need to go through one of these days, maybe this weekend, and I'm going to do a bunch of plays, or just like maybe to make a video on it with me playing each game and just verifying that, hey, it works, or what was the experience to install it? I'm not going to play it for very long. I don't have the time to play all these games very long, but I can say, like with the old game of Sacrifice, it ran really well. It was so bizarre to play that on the go with the Steam Deck because I hadn't played it in decades or a decade plus, and it's just that game does not graphically age overly well. Jay, just got an A1 because it was cheaper. I won't be using Windows often. My main SD card is a 1 terabyte SanDisk Extreme. Okay. Yeah, the SanDisk Extreme is probably the all-around best card if you really want those writes. But I still stand by the Samsung Evo Select. I love that thing, and it can go on sale for really good deals. I still stand by that as my favorite, and I really like the SD cards thing has always been a weird thing on my channel, and like doing it in the past, it's very, polarizing with the whole thing. But yeah, to be honest, the Lexar Play, if you bought one, it works great for me. It takes a little longer to install things, but I don't install things very often on it. I love it, and I'm still, going to be sticking to, let me double check something here on the stream. Sorry. I am just going to still be sticking to, I can't change it. It got moved back to normal latency. I apologize. So like between speaking and chat, it's a little bit more laggy. I'm still going to be sticking to SD card buying a new SD card for new games. Like I'm not planning on having like 20. I think that's a little excessive, but I could see myself having maybe up to 10 SD cards, which still sounds very excessive, but I am doing this for content. So, oh, thank you, Wolf. Michael, I have a 1 terabyte card. Just use it for games, though. Haven't tried putting Windows on it. I haven't tried any of that stuff yet. There's a lot to do with the Steam Deck. And if I wasn't making content and doing it, I could have done everything that needs to be done. But making content and making the content I need for videos is a hard balancing act, right? So, Okay. Wolf. Chad also asked, now is that just when playing games or using it in general for multitasking? I haven't tried it playing games. I'm assuming if you tried to listen to music while, um, yeah, if you tried listening to music while playing a game, I don't think you'd have too many issues. I think the multitasking works fairly well for that type of thing. What it doesn't do is if you're in desktop mode, like editing, don't do anything but while you're editing or rendering the edit out. Um, and that's kind of a given a little bit, but even it's just in other systems I've been able to get away with more. It's just once you start multitasking, it's a downward spiral of if it will cause issues or not. I haven't hit like the right precipice because I've multitasked a lot on it, but most of my multitasking is like watching videos while I'm on the internet, while I'm also maybe installing something. Those, I not too intense. Long, what does the lock screen look like, and can we personalize it with custom background? I'll be honest, I have not enabled the lock screen yet. I have not wanted to deal with a lock screen. I have not. When I traveled, I always had it on me. I didn't let it go from my hand, and I don't let people have it long enough to. Oh, look at that! So I have Microsoft Edge, Half-Life, and also a VLC media player running. So I didn't even know that you could. So if you're playing two, I'm curious how that does on the battery life. But if you're playing two different games, that are lower level or lower in demand, you might be able to get away with just switching between the two. I don't know how that works. I'm assuming it kind of freezes the instance. Well, maybe not. I don't know. If it freezes the instance, then you can't play music. So there's a lot of, I guess, I'm learning a lot from you guys. Thank you. In the sense of like what I could potentially be doing or trying. So yeah, I haven't tried the lock screen yet. That's what I was kind of, see, security. This is the security options for lock screen. So you can put lock screen on it when switching to desktop mode, before showing login screen, or on system wake and power up. Let's okay. Let's not show my pin. And it even lets you do it with that's cool. So touch with numbers, or you can use like symbols like the right, the R2 and all that. Okay, let's see what I can tell you right now on this lock screen. You wouldn't be able to modify it, at least not in a traditional route. Maybe you could modify the files in desktop mode. And this is what it looks like anyways. This is my lock screen. So, in theory, you might be able to even modify the splash screen when the game or when the system launches. You might even be able to find the location for that. Because you can do that stuff like with Windows, right? Yeah. Even has a forget your pin step, which is kind of cool. Let's just disable that for now. I just don't plan on using at this moment the lock screen. Okay. Monster Hunter Rise. Julian, I have not played it Monster Hunter Rise yet. I do own it. I have not played it yet. I do need a... There's a list on Reddit under Games Revealed that you can slap that in, because I am going to be using that those comments. You can also do it in the Discord server. We have a Discord server request feedback and all that I am getting a little behind on, but I plan on getting back up on. Just testing all these games is going to take a while. I'm going to have to go somewhere else that has internet. So, fun fact, I've done so much downloading this month with games that I already hit my cap. And so now it's going to cost a lot. I'm probably going to end up spending $70 to $100 in overcharges on my cap, which screw Comcast. I hate it so much. Okay. Hate them. Hate it. So I think there's actually an XD card sale going on now, Magnation. Is the Samsung Evo Select in that? Because I might do that. I know that it's on and off, always a sell, I feel like. RC Guy, still waiting on my 512 gigabyte Steam Deck reservation, waiting for the email confirmation. Or confirm. Hope you get it soon, man. I haven't tried the 512 gig stuff out yet, but I'm liking my 256 so far. Michael, Spotify works great while streaming games from Game Pass on deck. Have done a lot of Spotify and playing MLB. The show. Oh, okay. I could see that. So yeah, if you're gonna be using like Microsoft Edge, yeah, I could really see that working decently out for you. Weird. I want to strap my phone to the top of it. In fact, I have my phone with me all the time. So, it would be nice if like during games where you need some audio, like to listen to what the game's doing, but also you can listen to music or podcasts. That would be fun too. I haven't had the urge to do that yet, so we'll see. Oh yeah, it looks like the Evo 5 to 12 gigabyte version is cool. Uh, Bisexual Blurred. I want an Xbox Series style quick resume on the deck. What's that? What's a quick resume? Like my resumes are pretty quick. I don't know if that's what you're talking about. Like for being suspended, like from suspended mode, it's pretty quick. Carrie, Carrie Solos here. Hey, welcome, man. Michael, Bisexual Blurred. That is a huge wish for me as well. Yeah, I'm kind of curious. What you're gonna have to explain to me the quick resume, Xbox Series style. I'm a little out of the loop on Xbox stuff right now. Monster Hunter works great on the deck. That's good. That's good to hear. To be honest, a lot of things work pretty good on the deck. There's only been a few things that have not worked like perfectly, or even like I've had one or two not run at all. I haven't. I'm sure if I went and really debugged it, I could get it to work. So if there's a game that you really want to work, that isn't going to be under, behind a lot of DRM or some other thing that that's not. They're really trying to prevent that, like a online game. I think you could find a way to do it. Let me see what game this was I was talking about. That's not supported. That I need to go and 7 Days to Die works great. Batman Arkham Asylum is one I want to get running because I really want to play that game again. I love that game. It does not run. I know there's ways to do it. I've seen people kind of talk about it. I just have not tried that yet. Okay. Is the input lag really noticeable, or is it just depends on how demanding the game is? Jesus. Um, yeah, I haven't noticed too much lag. The only game I've ever noticed lag in, and this is I think on a software level, is Dead Space 1. And there's usually fixes for it. I haven't fixed it yet. I've been playing Dead Space 2. Been loving that game on this. Dead Space 2 is awesome on this. I haven't noticed too bad of a lag. I'm assuming if it really has some like intensive parts that you need to be really reactive to, maybe I would notice. I have noticed at times, like, obviously my response with my keyboard and mouse, which are really good, really good keyboard and mouse, and my computer's really good. Like, it's definitely like just a little better. It's the best experience I have. But with the Steam Deck, Michael, Arkham Asylum and City works great. I wouldn't go as far as it's easy to run. I switched Protons, unless they fixed it recently. I switched Protons and I couldn't get it running with any of the Protons that were listed. So I was assuming I'd had to go through and download another one. But I could be wrong, I guess, Michael. My experience was different on that. And I'm fine going through and making it harder. I want to preface that it wasn't easy for me. So yeah, the input lag, haven't noticed it in the demanding game, haven't noticed it too bad, unless you have lag period, like meaning once you hit 30, I do notice lag at 30, but it is at 30 frames. So some games are just fine that way, though. 40 is the sweet spot. The Wave. The Wave is also experiencing that data cap nightmare. Ugh, I hate it so much. I hate it. It's such a cheap thing. And you know what they said? Like, they're like, we've done our research and we know that, like, the average person only uses this much. I'm like, cool. Then why cap it? If you know that the average person only uses that much, then give it a little bit more and just let them continue to use what they wanted. Like, it's obviously, a it's a money making game on them to decide. And then we paid for the infrastructure to be put in, subsidize it essentially, taxpayers here in the U.S. And then they proceed to be a monopoly essentially. Like I have potentially two options, but only one that actually is a real option, which is Comcast. So it's a joke. I could go in all day about that. I am not going to right now. We're going to get back into Steam Deck. I'm bringing this back around. I could maybe do rants on the Brink channel about that type of stuff if you're interested, but yeah. Spike, I already use Spotify and Bandcamp while playing games natively on Steam Deck. Cool. I need to try that out, man. I just turn some settings down sometimes depending on the game so that it's not using too much power. Yep. I could totally see that being a thing. Quick resume on Xbox is that you can switch between 5 games at the same time. Okay, Spike. Yeah, I remember that now. So the drive, it would require caching and some other niceties. If I'm not mistaken, that's how Xbox does it from a technical standpoint, is that either you're going to have to have a fast enough hard drive to do instance caching, meaning like they can dump really quick or page from the RAM into the hard drive, and then the resume only takes a few seconds to load it back into RAM, or they have enough RAM that they can just store it into multiple sections of the RAM, right? Those are the two options. Beyond that, I don't know if it's possible, and I believe with Xbox, I think PlayStation even has something somewhat similar, don't they? Or at least it's so fast that it loads up so quick. You don't even really need the quick resume almost. Yeah, I agree though. I don't know if it'd be a quick one. They could potentially. You just have to have enough storage, I'd assume, and they could get it to work. But I really do think there would be limitations on the Steam Deck. It could be done. It might not be quick, but it could be a resume feature, which would be, to be honest, that would be really sick. If I'm playing, let's say, Dead Space 2, and I'm like, well, I'm kind of done with this for now, and I do switch a lot, actually. I want to play something that's like Half-Life or something to just chill out for a second and get back into Dead Space. I don't know, but the weird thing is I don't do that on my normal desktop. I don't do that type of gaming, but on the Steam Deck, I find myself wandering. There's really nothing else like it. It also saves where you were if you turn the console off. Crazy. Yeah, it's all being cached or paged somewhere. Spike for games that support it or less supported. I could understand why online games would be less supported. They wouldn't want you to do quick switching. I would also assume that depends on if the game, how it does loading and managing its memory. Could also go into it a little bit. Arkham Asylum City works great on deck. Okay, we already read that. Yeah, you got to bash that like button with your crowbar and everything else. Shitty's Gaming and Tech. I love how some of the people who haven't touched the Steam Deck put so much hate on it. Yeah, I've done obviously a couple of response videos on that. And if you guys ever find like a video that's like funny in a sad way, I don't want to go make fun of them, but I do like doing responses and whatever, if you want to call it reaction. It's just fun to like watch them for the first time. Like, yeah, that's wrong. Or just like, ooh, that's an interesting. Oh, high tech, low life. Just as an update on that case, I was going to update you later. I have it printed, but I'm printing some specialty ones too right now. see. Sorry about that. I think it's working now. I really need to get this thing worked. I shouldn't touch it. I think I touched it and it's okay. Is the mic back on now? Is it working? I think it should be working now. Let's see. I'll double check everything. Okay. Yeah. I think you're right. Hi. Okay, thanks. Yeah. I'm gonna do a rush order after this and get a new cable. I think it is my cabling. I'm gonna get one that's much more resistant. I think that's been my problem half this time, is that my cable, if I move this around enough, it causes issues. Okay, let's get back to that real quick. The Wii U stuff, I haven't tried a whole lot, to be honest. Wii and Wii U. Wii U actually has some great games on it. I have Wind Waker for GameCube, and so I'm going to be playing it on the GameCube right now, and I also have it for the Switch, so I'm going to probably play it on the Switch, potentially too, because I think it's supposed to be better graphics. I will see if I get to Wii U games on the emulator anytime soon, so I can't really give my takes on those yet. The Wave, it's got me wondering why such low storage options with the deck. I switch games often too much, delete and download all the time. Yeah, it's because of the limitations of the deck. So with the deck, you only have you can only get up to a terabyte technically right now. So with the NVMe drive inside of it, you can only get up to a terabyte. That's changed. There's two companies that I know of right now that are going to be getting, we're going to be getting 2 terabytes this year. So we can get up to 2 terabytes. Can't guarantee how that's going to fit into the, I don't know how it's going to work and fit, as long as it's not double-sided, because there's some ways that they could do it and they might not fit in the deck. Okay. Don't need to go into complexities of that right now until they're fully released, and maybe I can get my hands on one. So yeah, we have limitations of 1 terabyte, which it would be nice to have the Steam Deck just be up to 1 terabyte, or change their internals to allow for a 22, I think 42, or maybe even a little larger of an NVMe drive would really help those limitations go up. SD cards, I believe, go to 1 terabyte. So you don't really go past 1 terabyte with an SD card. So our limitations are there. That's really, it's just, the tech is just limited. They can't go much higher than that. Okay. I'll get to yours, Jesus, in a second. So High Tech Low Life Deck Challenge, does that include video editing? Yes, I did that. High Tech Low Life. I did the video editing. I did everything. I did streaming. I did report on it over every day. I had a report, like day one, day 2, to day 7. And the hardest part for me wasn't even the video editing, even though obviously you could tell my videos weren't edited as well and they were lower frames. Yeah, they were lower frames. And I had some issues with recording and with the limitations of and I already went over this in the stream, with just power delivery, bus. Like, you're not, if it's a 4K link, like what I'm using with my camera, you're not really supposed to put other USB devices on, from my understanding, on the same USB bus. And I did do that, and it still lagged slightly, and I don't know if people noticed it in my videos, but you could probably, if you really looked, my sync of my mouth and the audio was off just slightly. It bothered me, but it was a YOLO kind of moment. We're going to release this. We're doing the true Steam Deck challenge, and I did it. I probably could have used a crappier camera, and I did. I wasn't going to downgrade. But yeah, video editing. I used Blade, Flow Blade, I believe is what it's called. It was okay. I wouldn't I don't know if I'd recommend it. I potentially, if I was to do this month, I'd probably slap the couple $100 down for DaVinci Resolve. I like that a lot more. If you Adobe Premiere, I don't like Adobe Premiere anymore. It's just too expensive. It's not worth it when you have a Resolve. Okay. Okay, I'll get to more. Okay, let's see what you guys are talking about. Yeah, high tech low life. Yeah, it is gonna cost a pretty penny with the 2 terabyte 2230. It will. I mean, 1 terabyte I can also be into the hundreds. Obviously, that's why I typically recommend just going with SD cards. Like it's a great way to do it. Now Jesus, let's do top 3 things you would like to fix right now on the deck. Honestly, and this is one that's going to be controversial a little bit. I want to change the screen to well, hey, it looks like we got a super chat here. We'll just read this real quick. Michael, good night, everyone. Have an early meeting in the morning. Put this towards your data overages. Thank you, Michael. Yeah, I'll get on some of those games for you then. Thanks for that super chat. It's very, very nice of you. And it will help. It will help me go through this challenge of trying a bunch of different games for everyone. Hey, Andre, good night. Thanks for stopping by. Okay. Back to your question, Jesus. Yeah, the top 3 things, the screen. I'll try to make this quick so we can get back into the chat. So the screen, I would like it to be a 1080 OLED. Once again, that could affect battery life. I haven't had too many issues with battery life, so I don't know how much it would. I want a little bit more resolution. You still can't really tell, but I personally do, and I think people might think I'm crazy for that, and I think people might want higher frames, but I think that even kill your battery more. Assumptions. I'm not amazing at this, the battery life kind of thing. 2 USB slots, bare minimum. 2 USB-C slots is what I would add. It's a joke that they don't. And then while they're at it, I don't think it would be very difficult to add a second SD card slot. So I don't have to swap out as much. So I'd probably keep one of them being an emulator slot. With that, also the hard drive, maybe I'd even change the hard drive to accept as, I don't know how much of a redesign that would require on the motherboard and all that. I think they could get it to work eventually to accept a larger M.2 drive. I don't know what the power drain or anything else that could go on that. Obviously they went with the size they went with. And that's a lot of it's hardware based. The software works good enough for me. And yes, I have to tinker around with it at times, but I'm fine with that. I'm a tinker. As long as it doesn't frickin' take me too long, I don't care. Carrie, show some prints. Do you want some prints from the 3D printer? I don't have it running right now. I do have, I have this print right here that I've shown before, where this is just a stand with a notched stand that then just has a lever that kind of just locks it into play, and it piggybacks off of everything. I've cleaned up recently, so I have to go find my prints that clips onto the clip that already I have. So yeah, I'll get more prints. So yeah, I'm just thinking I have a lot more prints, and I have some specialty prints coming out that, like I said, I'm going to be giving away as giveaways very soon. I just recovering from Steam Deck Challenge, other stuff, a bunch of videos I've been doing. But I do have a specialty stand / holder, all that stuff I'm doing for giveaways, and both just like video watching, website, and also merch. So there's multiple ways to get it. And if you don't get the giveaways, I'm always going to have an offer. I'm not going to sell it, but there'll be giveaways. High Tech Live, Ross from Retro Game Corps had an interesting take on the PSN sales going on. Link it on. I can't remember. I think you can post links in here if you're not a mod. I'd like to see a link on that. High tech. Um, and Bisexual Blood loves your channel, and I like your channel too. Heck, I'll even say I love it. High tech. The PlayStation Store sale going on right now has some incredible deals, but it's amazing how little I'm interested in them. Oh yeah. Okay. If the game is on Steam, I'm 100% getting it instead. The Steam Deck has really mentally shifted things for me. I'm assuming that's from Retro Game Corps. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I'm getting this now. I'm just behind on chat a lot. I agree. But I've always been like that. I'm a PC gamer through and through. Like if I can get it on Steam, that's the first place I get it. If I can't get it there, Epic Games. I know people aren't the biggest fan of Epic Games, but they've gifted me a lot of games. So, and I also do my game development through Epic, through the Unreal Engine. So I want to make sure that they're well and healthy for that type of stuff. Money-wise, which I guess, Fortnite's secured that. PlayStation-wise, I only get PlayStation games that are exclusives, like Ghost of Tsushima, and I'm playing that right now, and that's an amazing game, and I can't remember I think they might have announced it maybe for PC. I know that Sony's been doing a lot more of that, which is super exciting for me. I wish they'd give me a reason not to buy a PlayStation, because I would. I like their games. I just don't need a PlayStation. I just get it for the exclusives. And playing like I said before and previously, playing remote games from my PlayStation 5 on the Steam Deck is amazing. It's probably, it might end up being the way I play a bunch of my games in the near future. The games I really want to beat that's on my backlog, because I play a lot more PC games. My PlayStation gets a little neglected, let's say. So, now that I can do that from my bed playing Ghost of Tsushima, I love it. I love that I can play Ghost of Tsushima anywhere in the house, and it's definitely become one of my more favorite features for my backlog, because I'm always on my computer, so I usually have access to my backlog, just not on my PlayStation as much. Yeah, and the Wave 2 terabyte will definitely be way better. I'd rather see an SD card being 2 terabytes supported. And it's just, you're going to be able to swap them out. If you play a ton of games and plan on using a lot of storage, the SD card slot is your friend, both price wise and also just because you can swap it out. You don't have to open up the deck a bunch. Wolf, hi posted something in Discord for your at Games Revealed for a possible way to capture deck UI and or game mode. Yes, that'll be good. I've been needing to go down that route to see what it would take, because I've assumed someone already kind of figured it out. Like I said, I'm going to use a camera, because sometimes that's a kind of cool view that a lot of people use. Just capturing it from a camera from an above view. Also for unboxings and other stuff I plan on doing in the near future. With all that, I also can capture through a capture card, which I have hooked up right here, and I've got it working. So I can record through OBS on, and I bet you there are some some remote OBS applications for recording too that might be able to get worked on this, if could run them in tandem with in game mode. I don't know. We'll see. Once again, I need to read that tutorial. I'm now problem solving, so I'll get out of that. Yeah, and that super chat's awesome, Michael. Thank you. I know that you're not here, but you need to be thanked once again. Oh, are we finally getting into where people are responding to what I said? OLED screen, an OLED screen. Yes, I would like that. So, thanks, High Tech, for posting that. So look at the iFixit kits. Have you seen, so looking at the iFixit kits, have you seen screens that match? I don't know what you're quite asking. 1-800-SMILES. Smile. I'll just add an extra S there. But yeah, I think all the screens would fit. I think technically the difference only lies in it was just a special, like if you get the 512 gigabyte version, you also get the etched screen, which some people might not even like it more. I don't know. I from my understanding it is nice. But I would assume, which I think they're sold out. If they weren't, it's like $100. It's not horrible. It's like, my overage charge on my internet, which does suck. I'd rather spend that on a new screen and replace it and just, because I do want to try that. I'm just a little apprehensive to do those types of modifications until I get my second Steam Deck. I don't want to ruin it, but I guess there's more kits, right? So if I ruin the something, maybe I can get another replacement. I do want to try replacing it with the 512 just to see if I can do it. If you ever get the time, would you love to see Total War Rome 2 and Warhammer 3 on the deck? I have a couple of Total War games and a Warhammer game or two. I've only played one or two. I've played Total War back in the day, like far back, but haven't recently. So I'll give it a try though. We'll see. Those types of games might be frustrating for me on a controller, or even with the pads. Yes, and put thanks Wolf for putting that request in there, because I am going to be doing a pretty decent sized video on requests. Oh, okay. Only mods can post links. Okay. I wasn't 100% sure about that. I still am getting used to this whole streaming thing. The Wave. How's the connection with the PS5 remote play? I enjoy it on the Odin, but not so far with the One X player. Really? I've liked it so far. I haven't had issues, but I think it just also depends on your network. From my understanding, it definitely is better to have the Wi-Fi 6. I need to double check to see if I have Wi-Fi 6, but I was upstairs. I'm in the basement, and I have a second story in this townhouse, and I was on the second story in my game, my room, which was on the exact opposite diagonally of the house, and I was able to play it fine. Sometimes you get connection issues, like they'll definitely they prefer latency, so you're just not lagging all over the place over fidelity and quality. So I get that sometimes, but it's not really that bad of an experience, and I would rather have that than not be able to play at a random intense times. So the latency is not bad. I like it. For me, I believe it's a Linux obviously version. I'm not doing remote play, like installing it through Steam or any other tricks to do it through Proton. Let's say maybe that would work pretty good. But there's a Linux version of remote play out there, Chiaki or whatever however it's pronounced. I've done at least one video talking about it in the past, and I do plan on doing a video on setting it up for yourself in the near future. I keep saying that. I need to do it. Just behind on everything content wise. There's a lot of content to do. Okay, so Smile, have you seen any OLED? I've caught up to the chat. It means we need to end soon, right? No more questions, no more things to talk about. Okay, back to Smile. Have you seen any OLED screens that match similarity to what's on iFix? I get it. That's a good question. I don't know. The problem is two things. One is if they had the proper connectors. So this is a little bit more advanced mode. The ones on iFixit are going to be much easier. The ones that you might find out in the wild, you need to know potentially how to hook up or interface it from the screen into the deck. Systems can oftentimes have different ways to, connect. They'll have different connectors. If they're compatible, I would assume it depends on if the OLED draws more power, how that it could affect the deck and optimizations through the deck software. I don't know how heavy their optimizations take into account certain things. Software always takes that into account typically. So it would be interesting. I could see some off-brand though, Smile. I could see some off-brand or not off-brand, but third-party distributors, because I'm getting even emails about a bunch of different accessories. Like, there's people making accessories to Steam Deck. It's obvious that it's a success. People are making stuff for it. We're going to get that, and with that, I think we're going to get screen replacements. I definitely think demand's there. Definitely with the OLED, like, we have noticed that the 512, at least I think it's still sold out. The 512 sold out. The fans are sold out. It shows that there's demand. It's either scalpers or demand, and I really hope it's not scalpers. That, what a hell week it would be, or just like few months or whatever it would be. Just have scalpers keep on like grabbing all of the replacement parts. That just, ugh. Does Autodesk work on the deck? I could replace my 11-year-old laptop with it if I can do simple tasks such as Office and run some Autodesk softwares. Yes, it is that old, but it does the job. I'd have to get my hands on Autodesk. Do I have? I'd have to check to see if I have Autodesk at all. I haven't installed it. I guess I could get like a demo version of it, right? So I could do a trial or something like that and see if it works. You'd have to put it in the requests or request Wolf to put it in the requests, and I'd try it. I'd actually, dependencies is sometimes where it gets hung up too. So if there's a lot of dependencies to install, like some games require a lot of Microsoft toolkits. I haven't run into that issue yet too much. So there's a caveat with installing old software like that. What kind of dependencies packages need to be installed on the operating system with additional tools on a software level to run that would be required. So I don't know yet with the Autodesk. Geo, I actually really like the deck. Screen OLED are great, but I don't feel like it's necessary. I definitely think the OLED's better on Switch. Like, we'll say, give Switch as an example. It's just hands down a better screen. I think they adjust the battery to help facilitate, because I do believe, I've heard people say one way or the other, I do think OLED is going to drain your battery more, from my understanding. I think. Or it's the opposite. I don't know. I always get caught up in these things. But I do think it, like, for mobile, I think OLED is better. Do I need to live with it, or can I live without it? That is, yes, of course. Like, I don't need OLED. I don't know if I had to choose between 1080 and OLED, which one I'd choose. I'm a sucker for the 1080 screen size. It just does the bare minimum, even with, I know, or maybe the bezels. Getting rid of the bezels, make the screen like an 8-inch. They might even be able to almost make it an 8-inch. The problem you risk with bringing the screen closer to edges is that you have a higher chance of screen breakage, a little bit less of a buffer. LoJack, can't wait until you get the emulation setup video. I know I need to get that done, don't I? The emulation isn't actually too difficult. I can't cover every aspect of it, but I will cover as much as I can, and then give hints out on how to, improve it, right? So, okay. Hi. iFixit says, no, if you're installing a 512 gigabyte model display onto a 64 device, or vice versa. I'm sorry, I'm kind of fast reading this. You'll need to ensure that a matching display flex cable is installed as well. Okay. Interesting. So, do they supply the flex cable, or is it just a generic item that you can buy easily? Those are the real questions, Hi. So, thank you. Hi is really good at information gathering. Yeah, so definitely look into it. It's whenever you're doing anything to modify, like going into desktop mode, going into replace parts, NVMEs, all that, do your due diligence and look up tutorials, look up as much information as you can. I don't want to scare people off of doing stuff manually, but just be wary that, hey, don't mess up your device. Getting an extra, like getting that 1 terabyte drive instead of, let's say you have a 512, it's just not worth it if you really don't know what you're doing. We've seen people screw up their device. Once again, it was something easy that they just had to unplug the battery, from my understanding, but people forget. And with desktop mode is, for some people, going to be more difficult, especially with Linux. It's a little different than Windows and Mac with the way they handle certain things. Now, that being said, Discover is really easy, and I do have a couple of videos where I do show me... Oh, internet died. Oh, maybe not. Okay, I need to do an internet test now. Okay, am I still here? Okay, we're gonna have to be ending this soon anyways. Just double checking. I did have some package loss. Okay. We didn't even do any field trips. Hopefully everything's like smoothed out a little bit. Okay, thanks. Wolf. Okay. Oh gosh. That's weird. Spiked up to 33 viewers. So, with that, is there any more questions for tonight about my challenge? Let's ask a couple more questions, and I'm going to be ending this soonish. Bedtime, early morning meetings, and all that jazz. Yeah, in the end, I did everything that I sought out to do. Yeah, well, Mr. Yeah, not. I don't think there's anything. I think most of the stuff I'd cover in a field trip has already been covered in videos I've done in the past 2 days. So you can always go watch those videos, including the Steam Deck stand on Etsy. If you need a really tasteful Steam Deck stand, you can go to Etsy. Geo, by the way, what's your cap? I live in Florida and I don't have an internet cap. My cap is 1 terabyte. In some places I live, where I like in area like cities in my state where I've lived, I haven't. Like with who was it? It was I can't remember the company off the top of my head. It wasn't Comcast. Comcast is the only one that's like given me a cap and like enforced it. I've had caps before, but they don't really enforce it. It's just they say they have one. Comcast is the only greedy buggers that freaking just nickel and dime you because they know they can get away with it. It really pisses. It's just like burnt earth kind of strategy. I just want them to want the government to come and just destroy all of them. Bring us back into the freaking Stone Age. Oh yeah, bisexual alert. Your comment on that was hilarious on the video. The stand is ridiculous, but it is detailed. It is interesting. From a scientific standpoint, right? And so it's art. It needs to be I guess, bought and enjoyed. It's fine art at its best. So once again, I want to do more of these live. Like we're going to continue doing live streams. I want to continue. I want to do rankings. I want to do other stuff. I'm trying to get, I need to get feedback from you guys on like what you prefer to do in these live streams. Sometimes I feel like, chat's a little quiet. And I don't know if it's because you just want to listen to me talk or like you want me to get more stuff prepared for it. It's just really hard. If it gets into like an hour and a half, like I don't have a whole lot of chat about unless people bring stuff up and then I can really go on about it. So, yeah, make sure to if you have questions and stuff, I'm more than happy to ask or to answer them. If you ask, to maybe even try to do a video or something later on it. Pretty booked out, but to be honest, I do always move my video content around and I need to always be making sure I'm doing good content and not get too laxed in it. So yeah, like the ranking, to be honest, my favorite live stream so far was, opening my Steam Deck was really fun. And evaluating it and doing that whole thing and the community kind of getting around me was really fun. I have not been doing ads. You guys lucked out. No ads this time. I'm not going to do an ad right before ending. Yeah, so man, my buffer is just not liking life. It's got to be my internet. It's just not doing great right now. Or maybe it's working fine and YouTube is just freaking out for no reason. Bisexual alert. I like the field trips. Do you like them in a video format or in the stream format? Because I can do them both. 2 live streams a week, lol, Brandon. Yeah, I am actually thinking doing 2 live streams a week, one in the evening, one in the morning. I just need content and stuff to talk about. Because I feel like sometimes we get like going really long and there's tons to talk about in these live streams. And then other times I'm like, okay, right now I'm like, what do we talk about? We can do rankings, we can do other stuff. The Steam Deck is awesome, but sometimes it gets a little bit stale, and like it's nice to mix it up and do something else. So if I do 2 live streams, which I have been planning, I haven't fully figured out if I'm going to do it both on this channel and do one on the Brink channel, because that'd probably be just like more of my opinion on everything. Potentially, well, this is going to stay Steam Deck and game related. But the other live stream on this channel could potentially be it wouldn't be Steam Deck related though. Game dev, just anything that I fancy or that chat wants to talk about, I would be fine with in another one. Game dev's really interesting, but sometimes it's hard to find a lot of content to talk about if you don't know your audience well enough in that area. Okay, like I don't know who garbage. I don't know how to pronounce it. I'm not even gonna try. I'm gonna sound like an idiot. I already did. I ruined it. I need to stop touching the mic. Did I just kill the mic? So, Gio, I enjoy your live streams. You can do gameplay streams. So you're allowing me to do game streaming. So my problem is I've done gameplay streams on this channel and they've done okay. This is kind of almost gone more of a game tech channel as opposed to a game. But once again, I don't know. I'd prefer to be mostly just like personality more than anything. In the sense of like, I like to talk, like I'm very sporadic. I like talking about a lot of different things, but I do love game tech. So this has been very fun. The Brink one though, I do have that alt channel, and I've been kind of reserving things for that, but I am going back and forth on the whole freaking thing. Cat votes you do one on the other channel. I think that'd be cook. So you want to cook on it? I could cook. I should cook and game at the same time. Get a little burner right here and just eat tasty food, make everyone jealous. Do some mukbang and game. Oh gosh, that could have gone maybe even more sour way. Mukbang and game. Wow, that's a little bit of a mouthful, especially since my mouth is dry. So speaking of game dev, here is the website to get updates for. Oh yeah, Bunny Strike. So I am doing a game a game. I'm building it. Is taking me a little longer because I'm doing the channel, but I'm fine with that because I love doing this. There hasn't been an update in about a month and a half. I have been working on porting a bunch of stuff over to Unreal 5 and doing a check to see if I want to do that. And so far, I think I'm going to go that route. There are going to be a lot more updates coming in the near future because I think I've got it figured out on the Unreal 5 stuff. So game dev is definitely going back up. True Blue, my RMA unit is shipping. Hope I get it. No delays. Yeah, I hope so either. Like if it's shipping soon or if it's shipped, then, maybe hopefully it's not as long as it did to take you to get the Steam Deck originally. So I hope all the luck to you, True Blue. Jesus, is the deck able to use an eGPU or USB-C does not support it? It would help a lot when the dock comes. I am missing something. There was, iOS Android 7.18 has subscribed. Thank you for subscribing. Let's make sure that we call out anyone that's doing that type of stuff. Yep. Thank you for subscribing. Wow, I need to get this delay stuff under control. Because I think that happened a little bit ago. So to get back to your thing, Jesus, is the deck able to support eGPU? It is not. AMD's, I think, at least with it just doesn't support Thunderbolt 3. Now, that being said, with USB 4, I believe there's going to be a lot more bandwidth and a lot more of a chance to support eGPUs in the future. I'm hoping that the Deck 2, or let's say if they decide to do Deck Pro, will have the USB, because that standard's coming out soon. I'm hoping that is the case, that we will get eGPU support, because to really be honest, that would be really cool. I will still say the CPU does have some limitations in desktop mode. That's once again in desktop mode with all the stuff I was trying to do. The limitation was more on the CPU with multitasking, obviously, than the GPU. But for games to be able to run them even higher, the eGPU would be just awesome. And it'd even be cooler if it could be worked into a dock. And I've heard people kind of poo-poo that, kind of shoot it down, but a dock would definitely work. Like if an eGPU enclosure works, a dock would work fine with a GPU, with a much more powerful GPU, or an eGPU enclosure dock would be awesome. And I bet that will be a thing someday, whether or not Steam Deck does it or the future devices that are going to be birthed because of the amazing Steam Deck. LoJack, you're already making most of us jealous by having a Steam Deck. Yes, I don't want to make people jealous. I love it, and hopefully, I'd really appreciate it. I don't want to make people jealous, but it is fun. I do like it, and thank you. Oh, he's developing his Hamad. He's developing his game on Godot and shares little insights along the way, maybe very relevant to you. Yeah. I have a Bunny Strike channel that I don't really. You can sub to it. I'm not gonna push it because I haven't fully decided how I'm gonna do videos there, because splinting time even more. I do want to do dev updates there. I do dev updates on my Bunny Strike social medias, like Twitter and I think it's just Bunny Strike Studio on Twitter and also on Instagram. I do updates there. I don't do them on my channel yet because I just feel like I'm not to that stage yet to do those types of updates. Just how it is. I agree though, Hamad. I think it would be cool to do that. I just it's just kind of hard to manage multiple YouTubes right now, and I'm not gonna do. I don't know if I'm gonna do game dev stuff on this. It might be a little just going a little bit too out of the niche of this channel. But I might maybe I'll do a little insert every once in a while, or a post shooting over to Bunny Strike if I start doing that. So, Geo, you can use the M.2 slot for a GPU. Yes, you can. I guess that would be considered an external GPU. But the question did include USB-C, and any rational person is not going to be doing an eGPU with this. Through the M.2 slot. The video is awesome. Like, that stuff's awesome. If you're a tinkerer and you just want to do it to say that you've done it, do it. Anyone else, highly recommend not going that route. Just get yourself a bloody PC and use this as your support device. It's more fun to do than to to say that you've done it than actually have it long term. You're more than welcome, Wolf, to link them, and we'll do that more in the future too. I just I haven't made updates in a while, so I'm a little embarrassed there. I need to do that. With that being said, we need to end this. I am tired. I'm gonna go pass out. After I clean my room some more, or my office space. So, with that, this is being said, thanks for the subs. If you haven't subbed yet, make sure to sub. Bash that bell with your crowbar, so you get all the updates of when we do stuff, when I do stuff. Steam Deck is still going to be the main premise, but I still do other stuff that's kind of adjacent to Steam Deck, and I'm going to probably do more gaming tech stuff. If you want to see me play games, you can go to the TH3BRINK channel on YouTube, which is The Brink, where it's going to be like gaming and just opinion pieces there. It's my alt channel. I don't do a whole lot with it because I've been really pushing so hard to do this, but is my room dusty, LoJack? Can you even tell my room's dusty? I don't think it's dusty. You can definitely see popcorn over there. The dog knocked a popcorn off the table just not too long ago before starting this. Okay, sorry. No, well, I just if I get that cleaning bug, man, I have to clean until I feel like I cleaned the table off, and that's when I stopped. But it was like 1:30 in the morning. I had to get up and at like 6:37 take care of kids, go to work and all that. So I don't remember where I was going with all this. Now you got me distracted, Wolf. So yeah, you can check out my the Brink channel and all that stuff. So LoJack from that Discord picture. What Discord picture was that was sent? Oh, I mean, I'm sure. Yeah, I have certain areas that need to get dusted. It's kind of the crappy part about being in this basement. Is just dust. But I'm getting a little bit better. I'm getting a little bit better. So, and I think we're gonna work on doing some more. Once again, keep an eye out for posts, and to just get a feel on what kind of content we want to continue doing. Like, I want to make this fun for everyone. I love the Steam Deck, but I also like doing other videos too. So, and I like to do what people like to watch. So, Wolf, well, you started, you posted so much, you got me distracted. Yep. On that note, Jesus, let's end this. We're gonna shut this thing down. Thank you guys for watching. If there's anything else, you can go to the Discord. We have a Discord after party. Sometimes it's big, sometimes it's not. It just depends on I guess whatever. But you can check out our Discord. We have it here multiple times in the chat. And also in, I don't know if it's in this description, but it's in and then Wolf posted it too. So Wolf also posted it, and you can catch us in there. And we chat all the time about just random stuff, about Steam Deck, the wins. Like when we get our Steam Deck, we all are happy for each other that, hey, one of us finally got one. We can talk about it. We talk about 3D printing, just about everything, to be honest. It's really fun, and I really like it. No, Wolf, no need to be sorry. I was just kidding. So with that, this is it. I sometimes prolong the endings for too long. We're going to continue doing these streams. We're going to open up another stream, and I'm going to be getting feedback from you guys through posts on YouTube. So keep an eye out for that. And thank you guys for being so amazing, like an amazing community that's really helped me get this far and do all this. Like, I'm excited that we're at 1,500 subs. Like, that's really cool. And I can't wait to do more. So yeah, no, everyone here is the best. You guys are the best community that I've ever been a part of. And I want to continue to see it grow. And I really like the positivity that's in it. So thank you guys for watching. Check out my other videos, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace out. Later. We are one. Did I know? Oh, that's always a fun one.